this is Mr. Lasser. Here's just how to make a nice graph from your investigation data. What I want to do is I want to take this table of data and I'm going to put it into a Google Sheet. All right, so we're just going to highlight it all, Command C to copy, go over to a Google Sheet, and then up here, Command V to paste. Okay, so a few things to bear in mind is one, only plot the averages. Okay, so what we want to do here, that means we want to get rid of the trials and we just want to keep the average. So I'll highlight those rows, do that by dragging on the letters at the top, then I will right click and delete columns B through D. Okay, and we're just left with the averages. Now, what I want to do is I want to clean the data. Okay, and that means for us that I want to get rid of the units. Okay, now I'm just going to call this drop height, and I'm going to label it in brackets the unit, centimeters. Okay, that means I can get rid of the centimeters in each of these boxes. So that's going to come 30, 60, 90, 120, and 150. Okay, now we're going to do a similar thing over here. But we're going to split it into two columns because we have width and depth and we want to have them in separate columns. So we're going to go crater width in centimeters and then crater depth. Oops. And also in centimeters. Okay, and I'm just going to start typing them out. So depth is 2, depth here was 1.2, it's 1.7, 2.7, and then 2.3 for this data here. And now I'm just going to replace these with the widths, which was 3.3, 5, 4.7, 5.3, and 5.5. Okay, so now what we've got here is some really nice clean data. Okay, so that's awesome. We have good, clean data. We'll just make all that big so you can see. Okay, we've cleaned the data. What we're going to do is highlight the data, and then go insert chart. Okay, so we're going to highlight all of those cells. I'm going to go up to insert and create a chart. Hopefully the chart that comes out looks something a little bit like this for you. Okay, make it a little bigger. Cool, so there's my chart. Oh, I think it's just frozen a little. Right, hopefully you can still see that. Go a little bigger. Let's have that edit column back up. Nice. All right. Now, what we want to do is make sure that we are making a really good chart. Now, linked on Google Classroom was a little set of slides for report writing. Okay, and if we go down to graphs, we can see a few things that we should try and do. It should have a title and X and Y labels and units. Okay, so let's start with those. That's a title. That's not a very good title. It doesn't tell us anything about this graph at all. Okay, so this graph is showing us, for example, the relationship, I'll use capitals because we are being fancy and formal, between impact, between drop height and crater width and depth. Look at that. What a really descriptive title. That's really awesome. That's what we want. Okay. Now, I think we've got our labels around the wrong way, or perhaps our data's around the wrong way. We'll sort of see what's happened. It's sort of decided that the X down here is the drop height, which is not what we want. Okay, so unfortunately my data's coming out the wrong way around. So I'm going to go into my series, I think. Nope. Do this. So if you go into setup in your chart editor, if you don't have chart editor, you can go click on the dots and then click on edit the chart. On our X, we want to have the thing, oh no, that's right, the thing that we're changing, the thing we're measuring goes up the vertical, sorry. sorry. What we want to do is go into customize, and we're going to add some labels. Okay, chart and axis titles. On the horizontal axis, what have we got? We've got drop height. That's great. I'm going to make it a little bigger because it's a bit hard to read when it's so small. Seems good. And maybe we'll just make that text there a little bigger as well. Look at that, that's much better. Okay, now we appear to be missing our vertical axis label. So let's go back to chart axis and titles, vertical axis, and what we've got here is crater, width, and depth. And we want to make sure we put in the unit as well, centimeters. Again, I'm going to make it bigger so it's easy to read, and do the same with those ones there. Oh, not color, 20. Okay, so now we've got labels with the units on our X and Y axes. We've got easy to read axes. We've got a title. Okay, let's see what else we need to do. Data points indicated with crosses. Well, they're dots, that's okay. If you would like to change it, all you have to do is click on a data point, okay, and you've selected the series. Now you can change everything about it, which is really nice. You can make the points bigger, you can change the shape, for example, make it a cross mark. I'm going to make it a little bigger in that case because it's a little hard to see. And there you go. You can do the same with the red ones. 14, make it a cross, and you are away running. Okay, so that's nice. You don't have to do crosses though. We don't want to join the dots. Okay, joining the dots happens if accidentally you don't have a scatter chart, you have a line chart. Okay, it's really important that we have a scatter. Line joins the dots and it's no good. Okay, then what we want to do is click on one of your data series. So this one here, our crater width. We want to scroll down, and I'm going to tick on data labels because I like being able to see those data points there. And I'm going to click, let's make it a little bigger, and I'm going to tick on trend line. And look at that. My trend line, if I turn up the opacity to make it really clear, is actually trending up. It seems pretty subtle, but it is going up. Okay, you can edit the line thickness and color to make it more visible if you would like. Okay, I'm going to do the same for my other data series. Click on some data labels, make them a little bigger. Oh, that's okay. And I put on a trend line, and I'm just going to make it like 90%, so it's really visible. And look at that. Very, very nice. This is really easy to read, okay, which is really what we want. We've got points, easy to see. We've got our trend lines on both, and we can view the graph. Now, the last thing to do is to copy it into your document. So, up here, triple dots, copy chart, head back to your report, and all you have to do down below is paste. Okay. Now, I'd recommend that you use link to spreadsheet, which means if you edit the graph on your spreadsheet, it will edit it in your Word doc, which is really nice. So use link to spreadsheet and hit paste, and then you'll have a lovely graph to go and see and show me in your report. I hope that helps, and I don't think we've missed anything, which is really nice. It automatically makes it even, usually starts at 0, and you've got a really nice graph. Okay, I look forward to seeing them.